You're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. I am Peaceful Nik the Medium, and I am joined by the wonderful and incredible Aunt Jen, the aunt you never knew you needed. Hello, Aunt Jen. What's happening today?
Good morning. We were just joking. I'm just reminding myself to stare higher because I've noticed I keep looking down lower and I look like I'm half asleep. So I'm doing my best to remember to look up so that
Look
I
up.
can look at everybody and say, good morning.
It's very hard to remember to look at the camera. It
Because I'm
takes,
talking with you. I want to
yeah,
look at you
exactly.
like I'm having a conversation with you. So it's like taking a minute to be like, oh, okay, right. Stare at the green dot. Got it.
And I also notice when I watch videos of myself back, I'm like, I'm looking around. So hello, everybody, and welcome in. I'm so happy you're here. Say hi when you pop in. I just want to remind everybody to listen to the Soul Twin Stars podcast with myself and Lady Shadow. The new episode comes out this Friday, and we talk about spiritual sovereignty and toxic positivity, which we are going to probably touch on today in our discussion a little bit. That's here, so you remember. The Soul Twin Stars. Join the book club. Both of these things are free and open to everyone. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. We are going to be on chapter 6 this Saturday.
Ooh.
Oops. I also have spiritual guidance and or card reading special for only $79 for a 30-minute one-on-one reading. And subscribe to at Aunt Jen 888 for more incredible information. Hello, Dee Maria 1250. Miss Holly, how are you? How are you doing? Hello, hello. Okay, Aunt Jen, you have an announcement to make.
I do?
Yes, you just told me about it.
About our upcoming guest.
Yes.
Excuse me, I didn't know which one we were talking about. We do. It's either going to be next week or the following week. One of my amazing clients, I've been working with her for almost 4 years. She is coming on and we're just going to have a conversation, just kind of like getting a feel for like how I work and what kind of goes on with us. And I just felt like she would be such a great asset. She is remarkable young woman, and just the fact that we meet every single week for almost 4 years now, like I just think that she will be a phenomenal guest. So I'm very excited about having her join us either next Wednesday or the following Wednesday. It's TBD.
TBD. We will let you guys all know. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Shooting Star. Welcome, welcome. Today we're going to talk about dealing with struggle. And I will tell you that this week, I know I've been struggling a little. The world seems pretty heavy. There's a lot going on out there, and I haven't felt the best. I've been a little under the weather. So, hi, Mangled Unicorn, my wonderful, wonderful moderator. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. So today we're going to talk about how do we each deal with it and what are the best ways. And that's your specialty, Aunt Jen. What would you say before we go into my talking points? Good morning, Wisdom Seeker. Hello, sweetheart. Everybody give big hugs to Wisdom Seeker today. She needs an extra big hug for a very specific reason.
Extra love, girl.
Extra love to Wisdom Seeker today. What would you say when you're dealing with struggle in a healthy way, right? Because all of us have our own ways where we don't deal with it in a healthy way. If you were to recommend to somebody this week with the world feeling heavy and us all maybe going through our own individual heaviness, what would you say, aside from meditation, which certainly talk about that as much as you want, what would you say you recommend steps to take in a healthy way to deal with struggle?
Well, first of all, the struggle is real. Okay.
Yes.
let's just put that there.
Everybody tell us, are you struggling this week? Tell us
The
in the
struggle
chat.
is real.
Yeah.
And the there's a couple of different things that I kind of just want to put out there when you just said that. I just had all these things fire. And so one of the first things that comes to mind about being in the struggle, which I've talked about, like, it's the middle part. I believe it's like the middle part of our journey and the different places. And this is where we always want to get out of it, right? We don't want to stay here in the struggle. And so one of someone who I could listen to over and over and over again is Gabor Mate. Like, he has been a
Love it. Love.
huge catalyst in my healing. And one of the things that he says that I try to remember, and I use that, I find it very applicable for this question, is to compassionately inquire within of
Mm.
what your needs are during the struggle. Because what you need during a struggle and what I need during a struggle can be very different. And so you need to kind of compassionately inquire within. And like, if you're like, well, what does that kind of mean? The only philosophy that I can think of for myself that I've used is like, if you were an infant and you're trying to figure out what the infant needs. Are they hungry? Are they tired? Like, you're trying to compassionately inquire what they are needing. And so it's internalizing it by compassionately inquiring within of what you may need in the moment to help support yourself in the struggle that is real. I mean, it's like that is something that doesn't get, I don't think you miss it. Some people just get on the struggle bus earlier than others. Like, and some days I'm like, God, I can't get off. Right. I keep trying to get off the struggle bus and you're not, and it's like that. And then just noticing where my energy is going, where my thoughts are going, where my attention is going. And so it's like, I think my first answer would be compassionately inquire within, to find out. And then another kind of thing that is important is, it's for me with regards to using it as a reference to the struggle. So there's two things that I think about, especially when I'm in the struggle. And these are, the first one is, I love lotus flowers. I am a very big fan of I got one of those too from,
I know.
I wonder who the exact same one.
We have
And
matching pieces.
I know, girl. Thank you. I love it. And I love the lotus flower so much because of how it becomes a lotus flower. It literally rises up from the mud. Like, it comes out from the mud, and that's the only way that it becomes this beautiful flower. And so I personally use that as one of my mantras, because it's like reminding myself there's no mud, there's no lotus. Like, and so I look at the mud as a struggle, right?
Mhm.
And so there's that piece. And then the last one, to see if someone maybe identifies with that. One of my, I like insects. My father was very into insects. And so I definitely followed. And so one of my favorites is a butterfly. I love the journey of the butterfly, the monarchs. I mean, if you just look it up and find out how far they
Oh,
fly,
yeah.
it's like
It's
mind
incredible.
blowing, right?
It's
It's like
incredible.
I'm blown by my mind. But it's before they become the butterfly. So you're in the chrysalis where it's dark, it's icky, it's nasty, it's like, all these different things that are going on inside this chrysalis. And if I went along and tried to cut it open, would not become a butterfly. Like, the
Right.
in the struggle of being inside of that chrysalis, is that's what it's referred to, right? Chrysalis. Like, that's how it becomes the butterfly. Like, it's from that experience. And so, to me, I guess because I've understood the word struggle, we've talked about struggling, we've talked about, like, that's actually where the gold comes from for me, is staying in the struggle, compassionately inquiring how I can deal with the struggle in the moment, but realizing, for me, the struggle is where this stuff gets birthed. Like,
Right.
I've seen it too many times to not know. And so it's like just being more comfortable in the struggle, being more, like, understanding that it's the process. Like, we
And
just try to,
compassionate to yourself. We have to be
yes.
compassionate to ourselves and surrender to the struggle, because I get this card a lot when I pull cards. It says the pause is the shift. The pause is the shift.
Mm,
We have to pause to develop our wings in that dark chrysalis, right? We have to
yes.
pause, or they're not gonna grow.
It's,
If we try
yeah.
to force our way out, force your way out, that's not, force is never the way. It's
Or have
always
someone else save you. I use that one because I talk about, like, I'm when I'm with someone and I'm working with them, I like to remind them, depending on where they're at, like, listen, you might be in your chrysalis, but I'm right next to you. I haven't
Mhm.
left you. I'm right here rooting you on and helping you, but I can't cut you out.
Right.
Otherwise, you won't become your beautiful butterfly. So,
Exactly. And Mangled said, I don't know about you, but my struggle bus has a flat tire and a squeak.
oh yes, when you get a flat tire in the struggle bus, that's a whole nother thing.
We had to
But
call
then,
Miss Frizzle for that one.
but I just want to say about that, like the the attitude and the approach that she has towards that is bringing in fun and laughter, and she's laughing at herself in a lot of ways and being like, okay. And it's like, I think that sometimes when we can get to that place, it can be supportive, right?
Yeah.
Not always, we're not always going to be in that. They're like waves, literally like
Yes.
waves.
Yes.
It's like a wave, like an ocean. But to be, just to have that feedback from her, it's like that's showing like where, how she handles the approach of a struggle bus. Like, so, oh, mine's got a flat tire. Like, I'll joke and be like, oh, she won't let me off the bus today. Like, I keep trying to be like, this is my bus stop. Like, I don't know. I put myself on here like, I'm about to get off. This is my bus stop. And it's like, oh, nope, they won't let me off. Like, that's my way of joking, right? About like, and so I think that that's healthy to have. It
Yeah.
helps to make the experience a little more bearable.
Well, and we need to bring a little more humor and stop taking things so seriously, because some things are serious, but some things are just junk in the world that we have no control over, and we just have to breathe through it. So I'm going to, some comments. Debbie said this week has been one step forward, one step back.
Mhm.
Mangled said she asked the question, why is this triggering me? Because what if it's me, not them? Oh boy. Boy, is that a good point. Boy, is that a good point. And that is more often than not, in my opinion, I get triggered and then I'm like, oh, that's me. I'll judge somebody on something and be like, why do they blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, that's not their problem, that's me. That's I'm thinking they should do things a certain way or do something this way or that way, but it's really my judgment and my opinion and not really what I think it is initially, right?
And that's progress. And I think it's really important to view our progress of ourself, of where we're going, because I mean, I can remember, we've known each other for 40 years, so our conversations have been meant like, we weren't in that languaging before of like, it was
No,
like, are you kidding me? It was
no,
like, wait, and
no.
no, I
We
didn't
were
do anything.
teenagers talking shit constantly about somebody or other because that's how we were raised. That's the society we were in and the culture we were in. Just blah 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 blah.
So I think that having that approach, even if we don't like it, or even if we like go back and forth in between it, having that thought process of being like, wait, hold on a second, this is me. Whether you go any further with that at that moment, like you've broken something, like you've broken a pattern of like getting to taking more responsibility for yourself and your peace, which will bring you peace, is really what it is. Of like, there's always a reflection, but we're not willing and able to see it. So once you're willing and able to see that reflection, I believe you go into a new world. It's a new world of like how things happen. You're like, wait, how did I get here? Well, you got jumped. Like you got pushed into another world because you're willing to see things a little, you're willing to take responsibility. You're willing to look at both sides of the street. You're willing to take care of your own side and not worry about someone else's side. Like it's a different playing field.
Mhm.
So I say kudos to that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I learned in therapy with my husband. One of the times we went, we've gone several times over the years for chunks of time. And the last therapist we had was like, you need to take care of your side of the street.
Mm.
And I was like, but I want to take care of his side of the street so he fits the mold I want.
So annoying.
I know, right? But
Yes, yes, and cleaning up your side and taking responsibility for your side, even though it doesn't seem like, is actually very freeing
mhm,
because you're learning to like, I mean, we're trying to control things that we can't control anyway.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's not really I the verbiage that I thought is like it's kind of rude of me to think that now it's kind of rude of me to think that like certain people are supposed to awaken or are supposed to realize something. Like that's not, who am I to be like that someone's supposed to do that in this lifetime. Like that they get to have their journey. I know my journey. I
I
know
think
where I
But
know we're
I want to interrupt you for a second. I'm sorry, but I think that because I'm old and I can't remember, when we were younger and we wanted other people to go on the same journey we were on, I don't think it was from a place of bad intention.
no.
I think we were so excited that we found this new path that, oh my God, this makes life better, this makes life easier, this makes things, makes me happier. I want that for you, you and you and you. But now with age comes wisdom. We're like, oh, not everybody is meant to be on the journey at the same time.
No. And not everybody has the same. I'm thinking about a couple. I have a couple of very dear friends of mine that have been my friends for a very high school. And that's not their realm. But anytime we'll have something, they're always like, yeah, but I really love hearing your perspective, Jennifer. Like, I like seeing your input of how you, because they've known me for so long. So they've seen my journey. They enjoy hearing my perspective and how I'll put it. They're not necessarily on that same journey, and what they take from some of the stuff that I put out there, I mean, who really knows, right? They say that there's stuff that they're gathering and it's enough for them, right? And being able to witness it and see that and be like, oh yeah, okay, like that's not their path, and they're not trying to make me wrong for mine, and I'm not trying to make them wrong for the fact of like, okay, don't you think it's time to get your shit together or whatever that, like, you think right to yourself, but who's to say that their shit's not together? That's the whole thing. It's kind of rude. Like, it's kind
Right.
of rude of like you
But it's
not
so
knowing.
true. But it's so true. We want to tell people, don't you think it's time? Get it together, right? And Mangold said, when we are young, we think the Calvary is coming. Once you get older, you realize you are the Calvary. I just had
Yes.
this conversation with Aunt Jen the other day. There was an experience we had together. I had an expectation of her, and I was very upset that she didn't fulfill that expectation. And I just realized it a week ago, and it was 2 years ago when it happened. And so I wanted her to fulfill a need I had, and she couldn't because it wasn't her responsibility, obviously. And so I was like, but you're supposed to so and so. And now I'm like, wait a minute. I have to save me.
Mm.
I have to save me. She can't save me, even though she would if she could, if it was a certain circumstance that she could do it. Like if I had an emergency, a medical emergency, you'd be on a plane and be here in a day if there were any people working at the FAA. But
I think the thing I'd say about that too is that you bring up something, then the first thing that I thought of is that, because we do go back so far, we did save each other we
yeah.
were trauma bonded. And so we did save each other. And then as we've grown and healed, it was kind of like, girl, I can't save you. Like, I'm trying to save myself over here. And that's when we got like blown out to be like, oh, you guys got to do your own work. Right. And be able to, and
Right.
we have a beautiful story because of the dedication that we had to ourself first. And then the dedication that we have to each other because of our friendship that we've had as long as we've had. But I think just to add a little something of that's what I think is that we were so used to saving each other, like
Right.
that our version
Yeah.
of saving
You're
each other.
supposed to be here and fix
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah. And then it kind of came over. We started carrying our own loads. That's what happens sometimes when you're trauma bonded with people and then you're trying to sort your stuff and figure out, wait, how, and it doesn't always work. We have a beautiful story. Like it worked for us, like because of the desire for our own personal growth and then the desire of trusting whatever was going to happen, right? But it's like having you have that awareness shifted everything for us in so many different ways of like just even myself. But I believe it's because I had saved you so many times, version of saving, right? We
Right.
both did.
Right.
And so it was like we didn't understand that was actually our own responsibility per se. It just happened over time. And usually these things can blow out and people don't recover.
Right.
They
Exactly. Wisdom Seeker said taking responsibility is paramount. Yes. Yes.
keep
And sometimes Miss Nicole over here thinks she's right.
so glad you said that. Because I got other things, but that's not mine. I don't come from that place. You do, and I love that.
I'm like, but my way is the right way. And my husband always says it's either Nik's way or Nik's other way. You just don't know which way it is on which day. And he's right.
He is right.
He is
And
right
it was,
about that.
it's the way that you learn to survive within yourself, though. There's
Yes.
a whole, right?
Yes.
It all kind of
We
makes
all
sense.
do it. Everybody here who's watching, either on the replay or watching live, we all have these survival modes we go into because of our background. And I know a bunch of you on here have trauma in your past. Jen has it. I have it. Everybody has it to some degree. So we learned how to survive. And my way was, I'm right. I don't give a F what anybody else thinks or does. This is the way it's going to be. But tomorrow it might be a different way. But so you better watch out for whatever it's going to be. Now, Mangled is putting all my links in. She's practicing, so don't be annoyed by all of her comments because she's practicing being my moderator today. My
Go.
brain's not awake.
Practice, practice.
Yeah. And Mangled said, that's our ego. Tell that thing to cool it, right? And so then I read Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I make mistakes. That's impossible. That's impossible. But it is possible. It's very hard to accept, though.
But in the mistakes is where I learned so much about myself personally. Like,
yes.
I think it's like I'm willing to learn from my mistakes and grow from them. And then I'm like, God, didn't I learn that one? And then it'll just kind of show up a little differently. So it's like they don't magically. I think that's another thing. We want everything to happen so fast, everything now, now, now. And it's like, that's not how it works. Like it takes time, time, time. And,
yes.
you're going to get so far and then you get booted back and you're like, wait, what? Like, didn't I? It's layers like an onion.
Mangled, don't apologize. Everybody's fine. Keep practicing. You're doing good. Lisa said, love those insights you're both giving. Yeah, we could literally, if I didn't have to pee and eat, we could stay on here for 12 hours a day and give insights nonstop and probably laugh a lot too. So let's talk
That's
about
what we've done though. When we were younger, we would have these
yes.
discussions and like, you know what I mean? We weren't sitting there talking about this is what we were talking about in our own ways, our traumas, our hurt, our pain, like how to like, deal with it. What do we do? How do we like, we were creating boundaries back there and not even understanding that was a
Right.
boundary. I mean, like there's so many, like that was kind of like our language. It was our juice. Like that's what I would talk about.
And Vivian said, and everybody, Vivian's birthday was yesterday. Everybody say happy birthday, Vivian. We don't make mistakes. Those are opportunities for us to grow. You know what's so funny?
Yes, Vivian.
My first bullet point today.
Oh.
And Jen loves making fun of my nerdiness.
I do not. I really enjoy it. I do not. I
My
like
first bullet.
I love you being a nerd. I love it.
Struggle is a teacher, not a punishment.
Yes.
Every challenge, just like Aunt Jen said, every challenge, every mistake, every whatever, every challenge is a lesson. And I like to always say, you learn more from your failures. This is not my quote. This comes from somewhere. I don't remember where, but it's not my original quote. We learn more from our challenges, our mistakes, our failures than our successes.
Mm-hmm.
So instead
Definitely.
why me? Why me? Poor me. And I've heard Aunt Jen say this many times. What is this trying to teach me? So address that. What can we help people with that?
And I think that that's a process again, because right now we're talking about it and you and I are in a different phase of where we're at, but that wasn't our languaging when we were starting off the, like, it's like you're starting to have these languagings, and different things that are going on. But I mean, it takes a while to be able to like, it's a process. And I think that is something that's something that I would just like reiterate over and over and over again. Like, where are you trying to get to? Like, I get it. Like where you're getting to is, at least for me, where you're trying to get to, I'm getting to a bigger sense of peace within myself, that wherever I go, I take me with me and I'm just more comfortable in whatever setting that is. It's like, there's nowhere to get to. There's not going to be this, like, I'm never not going to have stuff to work on. I'm never, not going to have. I remember when someone even said that with reference to, my father. And it was like, when are you? And part of me was like, well, when is he going to stop bringing stuff up that I'm going to have to work on? Like I could say it the same direction. It's like, but what happens is when something happens to me, it happens for me. And I take the opportunity to sit with what is happening. What happened that was projected onto me, or I was involved in, or whatever's happening. Where is my piece in this? Because it is freeing for me. I
Mhm.
can't do their piece, and I
Right.
can't spend all my time trying to figure out what their piece is, but there is a piece that's mine. Period.
Mhm.
End of story. That I personally have decided to take responsibility for because I've actually seen it work in my life. Right. So I'm like, oh, okay, not everybody, it's not something that just happens. It's a process. It's allowing the process to be the process and compassionately loving yourself through it,
Right.
the way you would want someone to treat you.
And that's it. We shame ourselves. We make ourselves wrong because we have certain feelings. And like
Yes.
Dr. Phil, I don't watch him anymore, but years ago said, no matter how flat you make a pancake, it always has two sides. And I saw that probably 20, 25 years ago. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense, for
Yeah, it
sides.
does.
I have a side, no matter. It could be the smallest 1%. It doesn't matter. I still have a side. And it's the same in marriages, right? Or any friendship or any relationship in any family, or whatever. Everybody has a side. And if you take care of your side of the street, that's all you can do. Can't take care of their side of the street.
And I think it's important to understand that in a real serious, like, no questions asked, like, situation. Like, and whether it be that you use the pancake, or my coach, I love how she put it. You're sitting at a table, you're sitting on opposite sides of the table, and there's a vase of flowers. One side, on my side, I see tulips. On your side, you see Gerber daisies. And I'm like, these are tulips. And you're like, nope, these are Gerber daisies. I don't know what you're talking about. I see Gerber, well, I see tulips. And it's like, if you don't ever get up from the table and go over to the other side, you're not going to see what that
Right.
person's seeing. And so you need to allow yourself to know that you've got tulips. But if you haven't been willing to go even see what kind of flowers they have, like, come on now, like that, and that's so that analogy stays with me when I get too far out and being like, I wonder what kind of flowers they have. Okay, you don't even know, Jennifer, but you think
That's
you know.
and
You
that's
sure
what
think you know, Jennifer.
And that's what we call empathy, right? Learning
Mhm.
empathy. And Shooting Star said we all subconsciously try to conform to fit our way of thinking at some point. Yeah. And we don't always know, just like you said, subconsciously, we don't always know it. Hi, Serena girl. Welcome,
Oh,
sweetheart. Miss Serena's here. I'm glad you're here. Aunt B said, I always remind myself that someone else has it worse than me. I died. And then she said, suddenly had coma, relearned to walk, talk, writing, everything. I still struggle with my TBI, but someone else has it worse. Right. People who are quadriplegics, or, everybody has their own journey. I was
and you don't get to
comparing,
minimize yourself. I'm sorry. You don't get to, like, that's another thing, is like we compare. I just heard this from this podcast, and it's like, someone had lost a child, and then someone else is like, yeah, but I haven't had it as worse as you. And it's like there's no comparison in your own kind of thing, because then we minimize our own story. So yes, people have, I'm just gonna say, yes, people have it worse, but like what you went through for you, like that is like holy. Like, and it's like
exactly.
it is a nice reference point, but don't stay there, because it is important that, like, there is no comparison with your story. It's only in comparison with your story from previous. So some people might have it a lot worse, but like what your story is valid, and it's not invalid because someone else has it worse. Because that's where we sometimes get a little confused too. And it's like, oh, someone else has it so much worse, so I shouldn't feel this way. Well, then we leave ourselves from being able to have our experiences. They're both true. Both things can be true at the same time. I think people, they think it has to be one or the other. And it's like, no, they can both be true at the same time. Yes, and.
Yeah, right. Exactly. because it's relative to the situation. Your
Yes.
truth is relative to your situation. That's why we
Yes.
see such a divide in our country right now. One side has their own truth, another side has their own truth, and their truth is relative to their situation, how they're dealing with things emotionally. Because I think it's all emotional more than anything, right? Everybody wants love, everybody wants to be chosen, everybody wants to be on a team, in a family, on a group, whatever it is. And so they're coming at it from their life experience. You either follow the example you were given when you were
Mm.
growing up, or you go the opposite way and you wake up, right? Most people not all people, most people come from dysfunctional families. So
There's a sense of belonging.
yes,
Right. We all want
exactly.
to, but what's happening again is that, the question I bring up, that these are just questions I'd ask myself, like, how are you belonging with you? Like, you're
Right.
still trying to belong with this other place that, like, you're not going to find what you're looking for. It all lies within. Like,
Mhm.
it's belonging with you, like remembering why you're here. What is the real purpose? Like, what is, like, remembering who you truly are from all the different programs that you got when we came in here.
Yeah. And Mangold said discernment is hard.
Oh,
Sometimes the lesson is when to hold them and when to fold them. And boy, isn't that true? It's
there's a song
really,
about that.
yep.
Willie Nelson, right? I think
uh,
it's Willie Nelson.
no,
No,
it's
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. Yeah.
Took me a second. Hold on. Kenny
That's okay.
Rogers.
It's
You got to
okay.
know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
Mid 50s brain is hard.
You got to know when to walk away, and you got to know when to run. It's a
Right.
very actually good song. Like, it's like,
Yeah,
if you think about it, it's like those are some good things of learning. Oh, okay. When can I, like, I'm not going to sing
exactly.
it, but
Yeah. We could both sing it
we're
and
not
get
going to do karaoke right now.
Holly said, love listening to you ladies, brings back memories from our younger days and how you helped me through so many things.
Mm.
Oh, that's a whole other show. That's a whole
Ooh.
other show.
Some people are just, I don't even know how they get handed what they get handed. And when they come in, and all I can say is that whether you believe it or not, there's angels here
Yep.
on earth and angels around that are there, because there's no other thing that can make any sense in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different ways, of especially like the treatment of people, or the just
Yeah.
trying to keep someone
Yeah.
down, and just like, I mean, it's, and so
And
to
continuing
me,
that pattern for 40 or 50 years.
it's about the internal rise personally, because it
Right.
doesn't matter. You're standing there, and it's like, doesn't matter what someone else did, that whether they stepped on you or they helped, like, how did you rise on your own? And this particular person is finding their way to rise, whether it looks like they're actually rising. It's irrelevant whether people think. How do you feel about yourself and the people that have actually been around you? And someone who's been around you, like, you're rising. Like, you could have turned a whole nother direction. You could have, like, but
Oh
it just
boy.
doesn't feel like it when you're in the struggle. When you're
Yeah.
still in there, like, it's just like, come on. I mean, I hear myself saying that, and I'm like, please, just, can you just be quiet? Like, I'm really tired of hearing you be like, it's a struggle, Jennifer. Or like, it's like, so it does become, I get it. And that's part of the process too, I believe, like being frustrated with it and then coming back around. It's like, how do you deal with yourself? How much do you listen? How much do you actually really get through it? Or are you just trying to avoid yourself?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's
I could
lots.
talk about that forever.
Well, maybe that'll be next week's topic
Okay.
if we can remember. Um,
We don't plan these topics. I had no idea what we were talking about before we came on. I was like, okay, she's like, what do we talk about? I'm like, I don't know. Don't you have like a whole bunch of points from last week that we never even went over? She goes, oh yeah, okay. And I was like, okay. Like, it's just a conversation, right? It's like, we don't prep for it. I'm not like having my answers here. Like, this is just really a fluid conversation about like whatever's kind of coming up. So it was like the struggle, because we were struggling. I was struggling. Sometimes that doesn't, I don't think that, I think that I put such a strong connotation. Is that the word? I try to use big words sometimes. Like, it's a strong, that like, oh my gosh, I'm in the struggle. Like, why does that have to be such a big thing either? Like, it's just like, I'm just, I'm having a challenging time. Things are hitting me a little harder. Like, I can't really process as easy. Like, I'm way too sensitive today. Like, I'm everything, it's like learning that languaging has helped me in some ways to kind of like passionately inquire within. Like, maybe you
Right.
tired. Girl, you haven't slept in how long? Like, or, whatever that kind of looks like. And then finding out how, at least for me, it's like, the understanding of it gives me the peace to be able to like, okay, now I can deal with the next step. Okay.
Right. And it's very it's progress. And Jennifer asked what's today's topic about, dealing with struggle, which you answered, which is wonderful. It's so much growth because Aunt Jen used to not reach out as much as she should have for help, and now she is reaching out, not necessarily for help, but just checking in and letting me know, And there are a lot of people I know who watch my replays who are friends and family members of mine who won't reach out when they're struggling, and Aunt Jen is a great example of someone who changed that about herself. And you have to, because people take it personal and think, oh, they don't like me anymore. Oh, they're mad at me, when it's really not about me at all. It's about she needs support, but she doesn't know that she can reach out or trust that she can reach out or feel safe enough to reach out and get the support. When on my side, I'm like, well, obviously you could always reach out anytime, right? But that's not her journey or how she feels internally.
No, and
Oh, yeah.
once I learned that from Gabor helped me again, was that when, let me try and I'm summarizing what it is that I heard from him. But what he was saying in so many words is that when you were younger and you had to do all of your stuff on your own, when you had to like go off on your own to process everything, deal with everything, that became your way. And so that was something until I could actually really be like, oh, I see exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and then was able to get to a place of healing that so that I could. It was all about timing. And I would want myself to reach out. I would want to take that step. I would want to trust the person. I mean, we've been together forever. Why would you not be that person? But
Right.
when you've been wounded and hurt and you always had to do it by
Yeah.
yourself, that's where you stay. It's where you're safe. And so I understood that about myself and allowed myself to continue the processes until I was able to move past it and
And,
heal that place of compassionately inquiring. Why is it still the same story? Why is it still what you're doing? Why is this? And then also flipping it, just one last thing, because I did flip it for a long time, even though nothing flipped. I would literally tell myself, like, you're kind of rude. Like, think about all that you get from people. It's very selfish. That was the better word. Very selfish, Jennifer, because what you get from others by helping them, you're not giving anyone else the opportunity to do the same for you. And so I understood that as I was still doing the same cycle, but we talked about some other things. I was pattern interrupting. I was interrupting the pattern of my usual way, even though nothing was changing. And so I had one download of like, you're kind of selfish, to one thing of like, wait a second. Now I actually fully understand. I can feel it. I can taste it. I can hear it. Why I do this. And I'm not ready to do anything else yet.
that is so wonderful that you thought that through, felt that, and now you did change it. And it's beautiful. I was the opposite. I was a blabber. I would tell any you guys all know, if you watch me, I have nothing to hide and we'll talk about literally anything about my life. Sometimes names are changed to protect the identities.
It's a really good idea.
And,
The more we
but
talk, the more names we might have to hide.
and I would be blah 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 blah. I would tell anybody, person at the grocery store, the friend at school, whatever. I just needed, I don't know, it's like my trauma was like putting a lid on a Coke bottle and shaking it up. If I didn't loosen that lid, I would literally feel like I was going to go crazy. I had to get it out. I'm very much that way now with discernment, though. With discernment, I'm not such a blabber all the time to everybody I meet, blah, blah, blah. But when I was younger, a teenager and in my 20s, I was so wounded and so traumatized that I had to get it out. Like it literally was going to pour out of my body or I was going to explode. Lots of comments.
And I would talk about things, but I wouldn't talk about them in the moment. That was my thing. I could talk about it with you after I'd gotten myself, but I couldn't call someone immediately in the moment when things were going awry. It was like I was staying
Oh,
with
I
me to
was
figure out.
blabbing
Oh, I know
constantly.
you were, girl. You were texting me being like, I'm calling you in 5 minutes. And I'd be like, okay. And then being there
Get
and
ready.
and then being there to be that place for you helped me in a lot of ways, and just being able to help you. And then also like using whatever it was that I talked about with you towards myself. Like I always took those situations and like, kind of, but it was also like a way to like escape. Like, let me help her instead of helping
Yeah.
myself. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean,
That was
it's
another
very,
trauma
it's,
response.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's all these, it's not just one answer. That's what I'm saying. It could be both. And I think
Right.
people think it needs to be one or the other. I lived in that kind of languaging. And again, that was another thing from my coach that taught me. It's like, it's not, it could be and. Like forget the but and it was like, oh yeah, and both can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
You
Black
can
and white
feel,
thinking.
you can be hurt by what happened, and I can be upset by the way you respect. Like they can, but we're always looking for like who's right, who. That's why right and wrong, those languaging don't sit well with me, because that's what we're looking for. Why can't we just be in the and? I'm this and that. Okay, like we just, but that's where I think people get, really caught up. And that might be something not necessarily that would be something that would affect you the same way now. But back then, that would be something that affected you. She's like, no, it needs to be this way or that way. And it's for the mind to be able to make sense. And I'm just saying there's an and there. And
Yeah.
then everybody can have their experience and be, people just want to be heard, felt, and seen for
Exactly.
whatever is going on. And that's where the boat is missed.
Exactly. 100%.
And
And Serena said there's no scale for trauma. We got a lot of comments to catch up
okay, well,
on.
then we'll stop. Don't get your points out.
Lorraine, Lorraine, we have to do it right now. That's a joke, everybody. Lorraine said, sorry, late, no problem. And Serena said, yes, both can be true. Yes, and so good. Lots of shades of gray from Mangled. What's your dharma is what Mangled said. You can probably speak to that. Serena, when to hold them, when to fold them. So good. Italian hands. Wisdom Seeker said, Kenny Rogers, I'm so ready to run. Contact me, Wisdom Seeker, before you run anywhere, please.
Yeah, Wisdom Seeker. We
Yeah.
on your team, girl.
Yeah. Let's see. Aunt B said, I was telling you that because anytime I feel sorry for myself, I'm reminded others have it worse. I'm thankful to be alive and learn from my coma. It left me an empath and other gifts crossing over, seeing loved ones. Wonderful. Wonderful. Shooting Star said, takes time to learn from your mistakes. Yes. Yes.
Or to
Yes.
be willing. And that's the first, like, people aren't even willing to be like, oh, I didn't do anything. Nope, not me. So it's like, well, if you're not even willing to see anything, there's nowhere to even go.
Exactly. Right.
Nowhere.
Exactly. Mangled said that brings up another point, the shame and or guilt after. We have to be
Shame. Shame. We should have a
compassion.
whole,
Right.
we need a discussion on shame.
Next week, we'll do shame. Unless our guest is there, then we'll do it the next week. So remember, everybody help us remember.
Shame. Oh, I can't
We're in
forget
our
that one.
mid-50s. We don't remember.
Oh, I
CRS.
remember. Okay,
Okay.
speak for yourself. Okay. I
I know.
love you, but speak for yourself, sister, because I am working the program of shame. I'm in the shame, like trying to understand it, like sit with it. Like I'm in it with it, like kind of marinating in it so that it can change.
Yeah, we have to change the shame. I think,
Get
and
to.
I'll give an example, and this comes up a lot in my readings. I have clients who will be very upset with themselves because they put up with a certain amount of stuff from somebody in a relationship for a long time, and then they have shame about it. But in reality, they learned that was okay from their family of origin, or they didn't know any better because their family of origin was that way. And then when they realize it, they shame themselves, which just compounds the trauma and abuse that they experienced. When we are raised around certain behaviors, toxic behaviors, whether it's, addiction, abuse of any kind, emotional, physical, sexual, whatever it is, and then we go into our own family or our own friendships or relationships of any kind, and then that happens to us, or they slowly, narcissists are really good at this, slowly chipping away at your soul over the years until one day you wake up and you're like, how the fuck did I end up here? How did I end up in this position? I don't even know who I am anymore. And then they shame themselves about, I should have known better. I should have seen it sooner. And in reality, you were just trying to make it through the day. You're just trying to make it through the day. So shame next week. We'll do shame.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I'll talk about anything, right? Like, it's like, I mean, it's, yeah, it's all a process. I mean, I keep saying that because it's just like, that's the way like all the things that you were describing, I've done all that myself. I mean, I just recently have done that. I've been like, oh, I should have left a long time ago. Right? It's like, yeah. And like, no, I needed to learn what I need to learn. And like, I can tell you something right now, I'll never be in that position again. And I'm also staying with myself until I know I'm clear, instead of jumping into something else. Like, we're always jumping. Like, well, it's not this, and it's that. It's like, no, just stay where you're at to find out what that is and write it. Because now I'm getting to the other part of it, of like, how would I describe it? Like, it's no longer like, oh my gosh, I did this to now it's kind of like, I have very, very clear expectations and boundaries of myself that I will allow to come in, and the first person that has to do it right is me. So I'm still over there being like, are you getting it? Like, in that, what I've learned from whatever situation or relationship before I get into another one, it's like, no, what about this? And what about, and so it's like being able to do your work that you need to be able to do and realize that that's another part of it. So the shame about the relationship or being in something, that's a part of it. Keep going, because there's more to do until you can get to that place where it's like, it's not necessarily shame is screaming. It's more along the lines of like, okay, this happened and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't again. But first, I'm going to make sure I have me. Otherwise, it's going to happen again. Just because you find stuff, like, you have to do, it doesn't matter what's happening. It's like the work still has to be done, completed, from whatever that looks like. And other relationships and other things to me can be a distraction from myself.
Right, exactly. Mangold said, I have AUDHD, which I think means autism. ADHD is, you guys all know what it means, right?
Yeah, I have it.
Hyperactivity disorder.
Yes.
Okay. And so a filter can be hard. So I've realized in the past couple of years, I'm probably somewhere on the autism spectrum. I had no idea until the last couple of years. I'm like, wait a minute. I match a lot of those symptoms from my childhood into my adulthood. Like, whoa, it was
Same.
I'm not diagnosed, but I feel like I'm definitely on the spectrum, especially because both my parents were alcoholics when I was conceived. And so sperm and egg definitely affected by drugs and alcohol. So I'm sure I'm on there for sure. But and that may be why I was having those soliloquies all the time, like you say, blah, 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 blah.
I think those are kind of, learning, like, so I'm one of those people that, sometimes when I get going, I can't stop. And I don't necessarily always want to stop, but I've learned that the biggest piece that needs to happen is I remove myself from that actual person, so that I can say the thing, because that's my big one, is like, oh man, that didn't come out the way that I wanted it to come out, or through frustration, or like, that's me. I own that piece. Like, that's my kind of thing. I'm not the one that like sits there and like, I'm the one that'll have things to say. And I've just learned that those are valid and they need to be done. But I think that the audience needs to just be me. And so I've had to learn to walk away because it's like it'll just start. It's like, oh, geez, there she goes, right? And I can't even grab myself. And so that's been the first step, is learning to grab myself and not be like, you're wrong. You shouldn't feel this way. It's like, just don't maybe tell them that. Like, until you can articulate it in a more effective way that is nonviolent communication, which is a great book by. And so it's a practice, and I'm also still allowing myself to be me. It's just I'm thinking about somebody else, and I think that also becomes in a relationship. Like, if you have that and you're like that, like, it's a partnership of understanding. Listen, I can kind of get hot, so you need to let me walk away. Don't
Right.
follow me. Don't
Yeah.
and people have to learn that, like, sometimes certain things will happen, because that would be me until things like kind of shift. What I've learned about myself is I'm the one, like, let me walk away and then let me come back and cool off, because I'm very passionate. I'm very emotional. I'm very like, and that's who I am. And I don't think that that's wrong. I just think
No.
that sometimes it's not fair. And it's not the right way, even though the person on the other end, they might not even know how to have a discussion. So like, you're discussing with yourself, and I still have complete control of how I treat people and myself. And so that's my one. I literally have to tell myself to leave or go cool or go like
Mhm.
that's my place of like learning and not stifling myself because I've done something wrong, but like it's private. Kind of like some things are private, right? That's private. You need to have that private discussion with yourself, Aunt Jen. And then you can go and to be able to maybe tone it down a little bit. And so that's the process I'm moving into with regards to myself and other people. And it can also be a reason why I don't like interacting. Like, it's like
Yeah.
it can be very like you're walking on mines out there, like about
Mhm.
how are people going to react. And sometimes like I don't really care where you're at. I'm in my process, I'm trying to make sure that I'm owning my side of the street. You and I are not even communicating properly, but I want to show up better. So I'm just going to still keep trying to do me, because that's what I'm accountable for.
Right, exactly. You can only take care of yourself. And Wisdom Seeker said, "Thank you, ladies, for your collective, truly thought provoking wisdom. I'm certain to reflect on this throughout my day. On second thought, maybe my month." Yeah, I think this is a lot. People are going to have to
That's what happens
watch.
out. It's not the time that's there. I always think that too when I'm having a session. There's stuff that's going on. There's juicy, great things that are happening while we're having our session, but it's the other times. It's the same thing as meditation. It's not the half an hour I sit there in the morning and at night. It's the other hours in the day that are
Yes.
affected from this time. So it's
Yeah.
kind of that same concept. Like, yes, you will reflect upon this, and that's why it's so great, is to go find out what information are you going to take into yourself that you're going to reflect upon throughout your days.
Exactly. Um, Blame is a Western civilization thing. Some countries they'll say the lamp is broken. Here we say Jack's broke the lamp. Need to shift our perspective. It's all about shifting our perspective. Miss Jackson said, "Loving, healing, white light to all." Janet Jackson follows me. I don't know if you knew that.
I do. We love Janet. Go, Janet.
Let's see. It's a special gift, both of the TISM and the ADHD. That's what I thought it meant.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't realize till I was looking into someone else's diagnosis.
The gift.
Yeah. There was something else. Oh, the safe word. So I have a safe word with my husband
That's
when
great.
we're in an argument, not the other type of safe word. That's a different story for a different podcast.
Oh, that one's probably X-rated.
It's a different
Children will
word.
not be allowed at that one.
Not safe for YouTube. But no, when things start to get heated and I want to be right. My husband and I are both black sheeps of our family. We both always want to be right. We both are convinced 100% we're right most of the time. We're growing though. I mean,
Fun.
Aunt Jen has seen these conversations and heard all the stories. But now we have a safe word. When it gets to that point where we're both like starting to go in deep, we have a safe word. And I'm like, now I'm a little more mature and I'll be like, okay, this is not working. This conversation is not going successfully. Safe word. I'm going to go cool off. You go cool off. Whatever we have to do, just be in separate rooms, go take a walk, go to the grocery store, whatever. Target is my go-to before we did the whole, whatever boycott. People
Oh,
get
girl, I
upset.
love you. I
People
just
get
want to say I
upset.
love you. I love you exactly as you are. And I think I mean, I just bring that up. And even though there's been different things that have gone on, I think that's probably been the number one thing why our friendship has lasted as long as it is that we've accepted each other for who we were from the very, very beginning,
Unconditional.
unconditionally, and worked through that of all the different things. But you're great.
Well, I think in any type of relationship, friendship, romantic, family relationship, some family relationships aren't meant to be. Some people and
Mhm.
families just don't jive together. Sometimes you meet someone and you're like, wow, you're the yin and the yang, right?
Mhm.
And you both fulfill the need in the other person. But the key is unconditionally loving and accepting each other
Mhm.
and saying, I see you. I see all of your past. I
Mhm.
see where you're at now, and I don't judge you for it. And I will love you and choose you no matter what. Right.
And we choose to do the work
But
so that we can
yeah, yeah,
so that we can still be in relationship with ourselves and each other, because it takes work of like
mhm,
being able to get out of your own way, right, to be able to show up to wherever that is, and finding out what your what are your non-negotiables or something. For me, personal development is a non-negotiable, and so at least where I'm at right now in my life, like unless you've been around for a while and like we've got something, like I'm not interested in any type of new relationships with anybody who personal development is not something that's important to them. And it's not for me to tell people what their choice is, but I've realized like it's a whole nother world and I don't know how to be in that world with you. Like, it's like,
yeah.
I don't understand that. And so, having to learn that of like, some people are like that, and unless you've already been, it's kind of like unless you're grandfathered in, like we're it's not happening over here
But
anymore for
no,
me.
but wait a minute. But wait a minute. There are some people who are grandfathered in, but I was telling you right before we went live that video I watched exactly about that subject you're talking about, personal development, where I have a very hard time even spending any amount of time with somebody in any type of like real relationship, not casual acquaintances, any type of real relationship, family,
Mhm.
friend, whatever. If you're just not working at all on yourself, even if you've been grandfathered in, even if I've known you from the day of my birth, I can't have a consistent relationship with you that I am pouring into, because when I love pretty hard and pretty like significantly. And I can't pour love into someone who is a low effort person
Yeah,
who
no,
doesn't ever ask me, how was your day?
no.
Are you okay? For example, my husband had cancer last year. He's okay now, but the amount of people I realized could give a crap less about either of us was astounding,
Yeah,
astounding. And I'm
yeah.
like, not that they needed to do anything for me.
Right. No, I know
Specifically.
where you're coming from. And I might have used that word wrong, because it's like, no, people that are grandfathered in, I just mean people that have been grandfathered into, like, I've seen that you're kind of doing some sort of work. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to let you do your thing. Or someone who I've chosen that I want to be in a relationship with them because of whatever reason. And so, how am I going to manage this knowing you're not really going to do per se? But then I remember that something that my therapist said that has always stuck with me, and I believe it to be true with certain things, like, you change, and so you change when you're with certain people because you interact with them different, and so they have to interact with you differently. Now, I don't mean I'll grandfather someone in who's like I don't have those people in my life anymore. Like, I won't. Like, I
Yeah.
just have no time for that and no judgment. I just don't. What I mean by the grandfathered in is like people that may be on their path, but their path is not what I thought their path should be. Or, you know, that's what I'm talking about, is like learning how to let people be themselves in their
Yeah.
own journey. But I will not be in relationship with people who don't have any self-reflection.
Ooh, that is the quote of the day. Put it on a shirt. I'm
That
telling you.
is a
And I
very
wasn't trying
big.
to make you wrong
No,
when
no,
I
no. I know that.
said
I
that.
just wanted,
I'm
because like
just
you brought, no, no, no,
passionate
no.
about the people who I like put over
No, no,
here.
no.
Like,
There's no
y'all can
right.
stay over there.
There's no right and there's no wrong. And by you bringing that up, it was able to be like, wait, hold on, let me clarify what I was saying. So I never took that in that way. I just took it as an invitation to clarify a little bit more. But I mean, I think that's a better thing. Like someone who has no self-awareness,
Yeah.
I have no tolerance right now. Like
Yeah.
I just really, you know, and we can all have blinders, because I do. Like I'm not saying that, but like absolutely, like no, it's always other people. There's a situation there. Like there's just still
Yeah.
some, especially when the
Oh, yeah.
story's been going on for a very, like, what's the common denominator here? Like it seems to
Yes.
be, it's kind of like, right, with all the people that I would date and being like, wait, what's wrong? It's like, yeah, no, you're the common denominator, Jennifer. Like you could say whatever you want, but the trajectory of what these track of who you're attracting, you're the common denominator. And until I was ready to make those shifts and those changes, like, so yeah, no, people don't just get grandfathered in because you're my family or you're my, like, no, like I just am not as available.
Yeah.
I'll always
And
be there and I'll always, but like I'm just not as available because I don't know how to make small talk. I've
oh my
never been
God.
really, I have no idea how
Listen,
you do that. Like
right? Oh my
things are
God.
usually really deep with me and they can be too much and I get it. Then we don't have to conversate. I'm okay with that. But like I'm lost in these conversations with people when they're just talking about just all this preaching of like I don't know how. I flail. I really do. I really don't know. But if you want to talk about like heartfelt stuff and like growth and transformation, like I'm your girl. Like you know, and maybe some people will look at it as too much, but I'm like, I don't really know how to not be that,
And you
because we're
shouldn't not
always,
be that. You shouldn't
yeah.
not be that. And self-reflection, 100% number one. And I know, like you said, we both know people for years and years that are pointing, always pointing away from themselves, never self-reflecting. And it's impossible. And in the small talk conversations about stuff that's like so superficial, I no can't. No. I just
And
we're finished.
sometimes we're not in that place of self-reflection. And so the universe will separate people.
Yes. And it's not a judgment, because as a medium, I know we're all here on with the soul contract we have. And maybe it's not meant for certain people to not be self-reflecting. If they want to enjoy my content or your content, wonderful. Maybe something will spark in their mind. Maybe when they're 75 years old, they'll have a moment of clarity. And that does happen.
It does. And it's also your own personal thing. I know for a fact that I signed up and said yes to do generational healing. So
Yes,
certain
same.
people in my family, they're not going to do it, nor are they going to be aware of it, because that's not what they're supposed to do. I
Right.
said I'd do it. Like,
Same.
so I'm like, oh, okay. So
And
my
that's
path is,
why we found each other all those years ago when we were teenagers, having no idea that this would be what we were doing in the future.
I was 13 when I met you.
I am. I just turned 15 when we met.
Hmm.
We met right after my mom died. And yeah, and boy, has it been a journey together.
And
Listen,
there's been times that we got pushed out because we weren't self-reflecting. We had
times
no.
we got pushed out. I've been pushed out, my family.
No, I'm even saying from us, from each
Oh,
other. Self-reflection is what it was. And if you're willing to do the work and you see it, then things will always work themselves out. But when someone's living in another world and you're that, you know, there's, what are you going to do? Nothing. I mean, you just do you.
exactly. We are at the top of the hour. And
Oh,
Jen, I could stay longer, but my bladder only can last so long.
yes, girl.
James is
Yes.
coffee bladder. And Vivian said, thank you for speaking my mind. Can't stand superficial conversations. And on that note, Aunt Jen, I love you. I love everyone. I appreciate everyone being here. I will be live
Yes.
with Linda G tonight at 9 Eastern, 6
Woo,
Pacific.
woo, woo, woo.
Whoop, Mangled will be my moderator for that. So I'm so excited. And next week, we'll talk about shame. And then we'll have your guest on either the next week or the week after, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Special guest.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aunt Jen.
Thank
Love
you,
and
everyone,
peace
for
to
coming.
all.
Hopefully, you all if you're going to compare out the last I'd leave things, if you're going to compare yourself to anybody today, compare yourself to yourself.
Amen.
And
Amen to
how
that.
the progress and where you've come from.
Exactly. And self-reflection.
It's a fun one too. Have fun with
boy.
that one. It's
Woo.
real joyous.
It's a real joy. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.